Imagine being housebound for over 10 months, losing 20 kilos in weight, bleeding from the backside 15 times a day, then being told by your trusted doctor you may need to have to face having your entire colon removed with a permanent colostomy bag if this new untested drug fails to work. My career, bank account and body were broken. My name is Neeraj Naik, and that was the horror that I experienced back in 2010 after being diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, a horrible condition that causes bleeding ulcers in your colon. I am a pharmacist now focused on cures rather than just treating symptoms after discovering what I'm about to share with you now. Thankfully, I decided to take matters into my own hands as I chose to break away from the chains of conventional healthcare. I joined the pharmacy profession as I believed it was a caring career choice that helped people get well, like really well, back to normal, but how wrong I was. Instead, I saw people going away with big shopping bags filled with medication, taking more drugs, not less. And this made me very stressed, disillusioned, and for a long time I felt like an empty robot slave working for a ruthless pharmaceutical industry, hell-bent on making profit out of your health or lack thereof. I believe this job stress, combined with several bad lifestyle choices, the result of trying to numb the pain of my soulless career, made me very sick at a young age of just 32. As I ventured down the path of trying to find a cure for what I had, I encountered many charlatans, false prophets, and much disinformation about the next best health cure, until I came across something much closer to home than I could have imagined. I very nearly gave up and succumbed to surgery, when one momentous day that completely changed the course of my life, I discovered an interview with my now saviour, Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith, PhD. In this interview, he discussed how for the last 20 years he had been giving people like myself with chronic illnesses a new lease of life, even people with weight problems, more lean muscle mass and fitter bodies, and even helping athletes win major competitions using a little known substance called bovine colostrum. I was so taken aback by what he had to say that for a short while I was in disbelief and actually put it into a category of another hyped up scam. Every other immune cure I had tried had made very little difference or was just simply overhyped. However, for the next few days the same mysterious substance cropped up in various areas I searched. It is like when you buy a new car and then suddenly you see that make and model everywhere. This is what was happening to me with what Dr. Kleinsmith, PhD, shared with me on the interview. What tipped me over the edge was when I discovered that colostrum was used in ancient India, my ancestral origins, by Ayurvedic doctors for thousands of years to successfully treat a variety of illnesses. And many holy sweets had been given to people during religious ceremonies that were made from colostrum too. It is literally the reason why the cow is considered holy in India. So why is colostrum now a forgotten cure? You see, India has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to healing, but since the dawn of globalization and the rise of big pharma, allopathic medicine that only treats symptoms has replaced all other systems of healing around the world. And this is mainly because you cannot profit from cures in the way you can by just treating symptoms. And a substance like colostrum is a threat to companies that do not care about you and only care about their bottom line. And so cultures over time have been educated out of wellness and educated into ignorance about what really defines good, optimum health and well-being. I rushed to order my first bottle of colostrum from Dr. Kleinsmith, and what happened just after a few days of taking it could be deemed miraculous. But being a scientist, I can now clearly see why it works as fast as it does. You see, I started to put on healthy weight and muscle back in just a few days. My bleeding permanently stopped for the first time in over 10 months. My skin looked and felt amazing, and I had an abundance of energy and a glowing mood for the first time in years. I literally felt reborn. And a part of me was just waiting for it to all fall apart again. But you know what? It never did, or else you would not be reading this now. Not only did I become well again, but I actually became healthier and happier than most others around me. And the news spread like a virus. Suddenly I was known as Mr. Colostrum in my hometown, and the demand just grew and grew as I helped many others experience the same or even better benefits as I did. Best of all, as a formerly disillusioned pharmacist, I discovered exactly what I'd been searching for all this time. A genuine side effect-free treatment that actually reverses diseases rather than just treating the symptoms. I now wanted to tell the whole world about it, and firmly believe that every single person has a right to benefit from this wondrous substance. The ultimate biohack for disease-free life. Why colostrum saved my life and how it can for you too. I assure you that colostrum holds the power to completely transform your life and health forever. I know this is true because of my own healing experience and the countless of people who have transformed their health from my advice. And as Dr. Kleinsmith has over 20 years of experience with thousands of testimonials to back up his claims behind colostrum, I have no doubt it can help you too. Colostrum may well be the best practical protection available against autoimmune diseases, cancer, and other incurable conditions. It is completely natural, free of side effects, and an excellent alternative to hundreds of drugs. And that is from Zoltan Rona, MD, author of A Return to the Joy of Health. There are now also over 4,000 independent studies from well-respected authorities proving the amazing health benefits of colostrum. The only reason why colostrum is not mainstream news yet is because I believe it is simply a big nuisance to Big Pharma, who literally controls everything regarding your health and the knowledge you have about it. You're probably wondering now what colostrum actually is. You see, colostrum has fed all mammalian life as we know it since the beginning of time. It's Mother Nature's formula for optimum health. Well, colostrum is something that is very familiar to you from the day you were born, and it's probably something you have since forgotten about. You see, colostrum is the first milk the mother produces to feed her newborn baby. You consume colostrum from the day you were born, and it is responsible for giving you your first immune system and supporting your rapid growth as a baby. However, if you did not get enough colostrum as a baby, or if you were not breastfed for long enough, your immune system would have weakened, and this would have affected you negatively for the rest of your life. Colostrum functions as a natural and 100% safe vaccine. Immunoglobulins, the most abundant types of immune factors in colostrum, are large protein molecules that include immunoglobulins IgG, IgA, IgE, IgD, and IgM. Each has a specific role in natural defense, including activation of various immune cells. IgA protects the baby in the areas most likely to come under attack from germs, namely the mucous membranes in the throat, lungs, and intestines. IgG is found in the highest concentrations and helps to neutralize toxins. Colostrum also contains high concentrations of leukocytes, protective white cells which can destroy disease-causing bacteria and viruses. This is one of the main reasons why a mother should always try to breastfeed a newborn baby. While working as a pharmacist, I was always curious when mothers complained of their young children having lots of allergies, and children who got colds and flu easily, to see if they were breastfed. There was actually a very strong correlation between breastfeeding and a stronger immune system in young children. I found that most children who were never breastfed were prone to more allergies than those who were breastfed for a longer time. Now that's great for the babies, but how can colostrum benefit adults? And how would we even get it? You may be wondering if I go around asking new mothers to give me their colostrum. I assure you I don't. Fortunately, there's a highly effective alternative to human colostrum. Bovine colostrum produced by cows. Amazingly, cow's colostrum is the same translation into humans, meaning as adults we can consume it and reap its benefits. In fact, the famous Maasai warriors from Africa still thrive predominantly on a diet rich in colostrum. Their lifelong consumption of bovine colostrum may help to explain why many Maasai are so strong and healthy, particularly those who have not yet switched to a Western diet full of processed foods, cigarettes, drugs, and alcohol. Cows also produce colostrum that is over 1,000 times more potent in healing substances compared to human colostrum. They also produce way more than what the calves need, so no calves go without their share of colostrum when producing it for human consumption. It is as if nature intended us to use cow's colostrum for its healing properties, and hence why probably people still worship cows in India. So what makes colostrum so special?
My name is Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith. I am the founder and president of the company that brings you the very best colostrum in the world today. Now, long before I became the producer of colostrum and touting the health benefits that humans get from it, I was a farm boy. I grew up in a family-owned farm in Cache Valley, Utah. And one of the best teachers that I ever had that I worked side by side with was my father. Now, he always taught me that first milk, the substance that he was calling first milk, was an absolute important thing to give to a newborn. And what we would do is we would gather it up, put it in bottles very much like this, and hand feed it to the calves. And they would suck on it like there was no tomorrow. Now, sometimes these calves would not get their first milk. And what he was teaching me was that those calves that didn't get it would also become sickly, and they would not be producers later on in life. And one of the things that I got from my education from my father was that first milk was absolutely important to the health of the newborn, but it could also be absolutely important to the health as we grow older.
When Dr. Kleinsmith and others with a dairy background talk about first milk, they're speaking of colostrum, a natural secretion produced by the mammary glands. This substance is intended for newborns in the first few hours of life, but research has shown that colostrum has important benefits for humans too. In most mammals, including humans, many of the important substances contained in colostrum cross the placenta and reach the fetus prior to birth. Thus, they derive plenty of benefits early on. In cows, however, most of the essential substances do not reach the calf prior to birth. Instead, they're diverted to the udder and are delivered to the calf by way of the udder in the first few hours of life.
And this brings us to an absolute scientific fact about colostrum. The timing in which you take this substance is absolutely probably the #1 factor in getting true colostrum. Now, we won't get into a lot of science about colostrum and colostrogenesis and the production thereof. You can see that the composition changes very rapidly after 6 hours. The FDA in the 1950s gave us a definition of colostrum that drew it out to up to 6 milkings, which included up to 48 hours. Today's scientific community and the research from UC Davis, Cornell, Washington State, all show that the very first milking shortly after birth is true colostrum, and the constituents are all there. After that time frame, the beneficial factors that are found in true colostrum drop off very rapidly.
This may not sound like a big difference, but it is, and it demonstrates the clear difference between Anthony Kleinsmith's colostrum and other products on the market that are based on udder secretions taken as long as 48 hours after birth. Dr. Donald Lyon is Professor Emeritus of the College of Veterinary Medicine at Cornell University.
One of the most important things with bovine colostrum is that its production takes place, of course, in those last 3 weeks of pregnancy, and really is highly fortified in the last few hours before birth. After the birth of the calf, within the next 6 hours, we have a situation where milk is being produced, and this begins to dilute the colostrum that's present. The suckling of the calf, or even manipulating the cow's udder to take that first colostrum, will increase milk production, so will dilute colostrum further. And if colostrum was just left, the cow wasn't touched, calf didn't suckle, within 6 hours and on up to 12 hours and beyond, we'll get reabsorption of colostrum back into the cow's system. Many of the great things that are present there that are needed for protection of that calf and protection really of any offspring or person is lost at that time.
And we obtain colostrum only from the first milking and under extremely stringent conditions.
It's important to know this. Collection of colostrum from cows soon after birth does not harm the cow or the newborn calf. Simply put, cows produce more colostrum than a calf needs. The best quality colostrum is collected only from cows that are maintained under controlled conditions.
Now, I'm holding with me the kind of the Bible of the dairy industry. The numbers were published in 1978, and they really haven't changed. We look at processing according to what the book says. Now, when we process, what we're doing is we're removing bacteria as well as 98% or thereabouts of the moisture, leaving us with a very condensed version of powder with all of the biologically active substances intact. Now, as you can see from the chart, there's a very drastic difference between the ideal colostrum powder and my competitors. But if you take a look at what I produce as far as the powder, and you take a look at what the fundamentals of dairy chemistry say, we're very, very close.
We've learned a lot about colostrum and the differences between true colostrum and other products. Now, let's turn to our experts. Joining Dr. Kleinsmith now is Dr. Alfred Fox, immunologist and an expert in the formation of colostrum and its application in humans and animals.
Dr. Donald Lyon kind of laid out what true colostrum really is. He's sort of the expert nationwide, possibly even worldwide, on colostrum. I'm speaking with Dr. Alfred Fox about why, as a human being, why we want to take a colostrum from bovine, from these ladies all around us. Dr. Fox, why do we take it?
First, we have to realize that as we get older, the systems in our body lose their ability to function. It's just natural because we're not producing the hormones in sufficient quantities to keep them regulated. For example, one of the things that happens in your body in terms of your ability to respond to, say, a bacterial or a fungal infection or a viral infection has to do with your thymus gland. Your thymus gland is a little gland over your breastbone that was the seat of your immune system when you were very young. By the time you were 13 years old, that thymus gland had developed your immune system to its maximum. And then over time, that thymus gland shrinks and diminishes in size, and by the time you're 50 or 60 years old, it is a little piece of rudimentary connective tissue. So basically, if we have the ability to put substances back in your body that'll keep these things regulated and healthy and at normal levels, why wouldn't we do that? That increases your longevity and the quality of your life.
Colostrum is Mother Nature's first perfectly formed superfood, capable of balancing body systems. Its components have been shown to help rejuvenate, regenerate, enhance, and regulate. Colostrum contains over 700 constituents, making it an all-encompassing health supplement. This superfood has 4 major components, making it a nutritional diamond. The first component contains all 87 anti-aging factors. They help with weight loss, recovery, skin, bone mass, and more. The next component contains over 100 immune factors shown to help with diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, heart disease, and more. The next components are the essential factors, building blocks for the brain, nerves, connective tissue, and more. The fourth components are vitamins, enzymes, and metabolic factors like leptin to help you lose fat in inches. All are found in their whole food form. Every body, whether young or old, sustains wellness by maintaining a balance within systems. All disease, whether obesity, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, or others, are a result of the body becoming unbalanced and systems breaking down. True colostrum has the natural components to help renew system balance wherever needed: immune, weight loss, anti-aging, fitness, recovery, or simply to feel better. In most mammals, including humans, many of the important components contained in colostrum cross the placenta and reach the fetus prior to birth in order to receive benefits early on. In cows, however, the essential components do not reach the calf prior to birth, like humans. Instead, they are delivered to the calf after birth by way of receiving the colostrum in the first few hours of life. That's why the components are 100 to 1,000 times more potent than any human mother can produce.
One of the most important things with bovine colostrum is that its production takes place, of course, in those last 3 weeks of pregnancy, and really is highly fortified in the last few hours before birth. After the birth of the calf, within the next 6 hours, we have a situation where milk is being produced, and this begins to dilute the colostrum that's present. The suckling of the calf, or even manipulating the cow's udder to take that first colostrum, will increase milk production. So we'll dilute colostrum further. And if colostrum was just left, the cow wasn't touched, calf didn't suckle, within 6 hours and not up to 12 hours and beyond, we'll get reabsorption of colostrum back into the cow's system. Many of the great things that are present there that are needed for protection of that calf and protection really of any offspring or person is lost at that time.
It is important to know that the collection of colostrum from cows so soon after birth does not harm the newborn calf. Simply put, cows produce more colostrum than a calf needs. We guarantee that the calf gets its fill, and we take the remainder. This letter from Dr. Donald Lyon confirms that the founder of Immune Tree Colostrum, Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith, PhD, produces only true 6-hour colostrum. It also shows others are transitional milk. If you want the benefits from colostrum, it is extremely important to get true first milking colostrum with all its components left intact to help balance the body. Not only has science shown Immune Tree Colostrum is the best by far, but with an astounding 89.33% of over 4,000 votes, Immune Tree Colostrum has won the People's Choice Award as well. If you, your loved ones, or friends are looking to have balance and experience wellness from any of the following, please consider trying first milking colostrum: heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, lupus, Crohn's, allergies, asthma, osteoporosis, MS, fibromyalgia, autism, Alzheimer's, obesity, Lyme's disease, hepatitis, irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut syndrome, and more.